Hey, kid. Hi, baby. Oh, trying to be. Oh. Hi. Hi, baby. Hi, hi, ma. Hey.
Sit down.
Oh. No.
Sit down.
You're so crazy now, kid. Okay, hi, bye-bye. Bye. Bye. Hi, bye-bye, yeah. Bye. Bye, ma.
Bye-bye.
Okay, see you guys later. Bye. You guys go ahead, come on, follow me.
The tram pulls into our loading area and comes to a complete stop. When you board the tram, please move over to the last available seat on your right. For your own safety, please watch your step on boarding the tram and please walk. After boarding the tram, please remain seated at all times while the tram is in motion. Be advised that portions of the tour include loud noises, sudden tram movements, splashing water.
There's everybody on the way to Universal Studio Tours.
It is, yeah.
Hey, what?
Special effects.
I told you, dude.
Still happening tonight as we take you today behind the biggest and busiest motion picture and TV studio in the world, Universal Studios Hollywood. Now, we never know what we're going to encounter out there, so for your safety and comfort, we ask that you please always remain seated whenever the tram is in motion and keep your arms and legs inside at all times. If you accidentally drop something over the side or if you have any kind of an emergency, reach up and pull the emergency cord that runs down the center of each tram and we'll deal with it right away. Now, wave goodbye to everybody and to reality as you know it, because we're on our way. Hey, everybody, say hello to the lady who keeps the show on the road. Our driver, Patricia. Everybody say hi, Patricia.
Hi, Patricia.
Says hi. Now, let me tell you what we have in store for you today. We're going to take you away from the theme park and into the actual working studio where some of Hollywood's biggest stars come to work every day. Just last week, we had Eddie Murphy, Eddie Murphy, Eddie Murphy, Eddie Murphy, and Eddie Murphy playing the entire Clump family in Nutty Professor 2. We also have a guest host today. He's one of Hollywood's finest directors at
Universal Studio Tour. You know, more movies and television shows have been shot on this lot than any other location in the
That's a
world.
lowrider.
And today, you're going to see where it all happens. Universal Pictures. On March 15, 1915, Mr. Laemmle invited the public to visit his studio, and the Universal Studio Tour was born. You see, Mr. Laemmle believed that movies should make people laugh.
Taken audiences from the streets of New York to ancient Rome, from the jungles of Africa to the Wild West, and from the bottom of the ocean to the surface of the moon. And for most of that time, we never even left the lot. Now, how's that possible? I'll let you in on a little secret, folks. Movies are based on illusions. Nothing in Hollywood is what it appears to be, and we'll have plenty of examples of that on the tour today. Now, at 415 acres, this studio requires an entire city to which which houses our 35 sound stages. On those sound stages, we can create any environment the story calls for. There's a great example coming up directly ahead of us. It's Sound Stage 12. That is one of the largest sound stages in the world, and inside there we... Most recently, Soundstage 12 has been used as Whoville for Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas, starring as the Grinch, Mr. Jim Carrey. And while we're on the subject of Mr. Carrey, we'll take a week from first rehearsal to the final taping. Movies are a different matter. Your average movie can take months or even years to create and involves literally hundreds every movie he ever made. Take a look at your screen, see how often you can pick him out. That's New York Street.
Pretty high up.
Now the sets up at the very top of New York Street are really the newest sets on our lot. That section burned to the ground in 1990. It was lovingly restored from the old plans with the help of Steven Spielberg. And I mentioned that those are the newest sets on the lot because we're about to take you over one of the oldest. The bridge we're going to be crossing was built in 1915. It was used in a number of silent movies. Wait a minute, did you see that, Patricia? Looks like there's a problem with the bridge. Listen, just take the access road up to the left, okay? Oh, wait a minute, it's blocked. Patricia, back up, back up. No reverse. Okay, everybody, please hold very still as we go over the bridge. I know we're going to be perfectly all right, but just in case of a water landing, your red seat cushions can be used as flotation devices. Oh, man, this is nerve-wracking. Oh, I think we're going to make it. Okay, so far so good. Look at this thing weigh anyway. 160, 170,000 pounds. Oh, of course we're going to make it, Patricia. You're a teamster. Okay, here we go. Yeah, so far so good. What's that? What'd you say? Termites? Easy, easy. I know we're going to make it. I think we're going to make it. Yeah, we're going to make it just fine, Patricia. Great driving. Yeah, good driving, Patricia. Okay, great. Whoa. By now you may have gathered that's not really a bridge. That was constructed back in the 1970s. It was used in shows like The $6 Million Man and later on Quantum Leap. It's hydraulically controlled, so watch as we go by this time. You'll see our bionic bridge magically put itself back together again. Oh, an interesting incident happened out here while we were filming an episode of The Bionic Woman. The gag was this. Jamie, the superwoman, was supposed to leap out of the water there and up to the side of the bridge. Well, that was accomplished using a stunt woman who in fact leapt backwards off the bridge and into the water. Would have worked fine when they played it in reverse, except somebody forgot to tape down the stunt woman's hair. So if you ever see that episode, you'll see Jamie leaps out of the water and her hair reaches the bridge before she does. Tilt a little bit. When they do that, we just spray them with a green vegetable dye. It spruces them right up. Oh, and when leaves fall off, as sadly sometimes leaves do, we do what any good gardener would do. We staple them right back on. And up here on the left, you'll see a version of what the forest looked like when E.T. began his adventure here. It's part manufactured and part real. The manufactured parts are these boulders and these logs and the tree trunks. Those are actually made of carved and painted styrofoam. They're very lightweight. As a matter of fact, up here at the end on the left, you'll see one of the logs actually has handles on it, so we can just lift it and put it wherever we want to. And coming up around the corner, we have what we call a forced perspective miniature. See, whenever a set is too far away to go to and too big to build here on the back lot, we make these miniatures, and through the single eye of the camera, they look quite real. As a matter of fact, this forced perspective miniature has two items in it that were used in the movie Dante's Peak. First off, there's that bridge that was washed away by the flood, and down below it, it's Grandma's cabin. In the air there, you can see an example of how we make falling snow sometimes. It's actually a liquid called blizzard juice. It's in this 55-gallon drum here, and it's forced with compressed air through a special nozzle, and it gives that snow effect. Now we're going through the same gate that Jeff Goldblum went through to get to Site B, or Jurassic Park, The Lost World. Here's some of the set pieces from that film. One of the picture cars. This is the actual Mobile lab that once dangled precariously off the edge of a cliff. In reality, it was being held up by a huge crane, and the cliff was a disguised parking structure here at Universal. By the way, we are right now in the process, started about a month ago, in making Jurassic Park 3. Oh, here in the center is some of the bait we use to attract those carnivorous dinosaurs. Always feel like ribs right about now.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, man.
Now, you've heard the term time is money. Well, that's never as true as it is in Hollywood, where your average summer blockbuster can wind up costing over $1 million a minute of finished film. So even though the real Mexico is only a couple of hours away, we've found it really cost-effective to build our own Mexico here on the back lot. We call it Old Mexico, and as you'll see when we get down there, you may recognize it from the Orion film Three Amigos, which starred Chevy Chase, Steve Martin, and Martin Short. Now, you know, we have always done our own weather in movies. We've just never been able to teach Mother Nature the words action and cut. So we've been doing it ever since about 1915. It's interesting, what we originally used as falling snow was chopped chicken feathers that were bleached, also bleached cornflakes. You might be surprised to know that what we often use as falling snow today, you may have in your kitchen cabinet at home. It's mashed potato flakes. Not only does it fall beautifully, but it's biodegradable. We don't have to make sure we get it all picked up. Now, I have a set of switches they've just given me. I'm going to give you a demonstration of how we do a rainstorm. First thing is I'm going to start out with a little bit of lightning. Takes just a moment to warm up there. We'll also have the sound effects too. See, there it is. You can see it on the side of the building. That is made with 260,000 watt arc lamps. Even shows up in the daytime. Okay, now here's a little rain. As you can see, we make the rain with special sprinklers that spray the rain upward and outward, just out of camera range. That way it falls down in this natural-looking pattern. Also kind of cools things off a little on a hot day like today. Okay, now that's about enough rain. I'm going to turn it off now. Patricia, it's not turning off, no. But you know, the ground is all saturated. Oh man, you know what could happen? We could have flood.
Oh shit! Don't. It's gonna go to the left, man.
Right you are. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we create the flood with thousands of gallons of recycled water from a tank way up on the hill. This is the way we've created floods in movies like The River with Mel Gibson, also Fletch Lives with Chevy Chase, and disaster movies like Earthquake. Now, early on, filmmakers discovered that rain doesn't really show up well on film. Then they found if you add just a little bit of milk to the water, it shows up just fine. So I guess you could say that Gene Kelly was actually singing in the milk. Let me put that another way. Got rain? Thanks, everybody. I'll be here all week. Now we're going to take you out of Old Mexico. Well, this one last section of Old Mexico was in the miniseries that launched the career of Patrick Swayze. This is Mexico City of the 1880s from the miniseries North and South.
Yeah. Oh, North and South.
Next, we're going into an area we call Six Points, Texas. Now, back in the silent movie days, we had 6 separate streets here, and each street was its own complete western town. Had its own bank for robbing, its own jail, its own saloon. And because it was silent movies, we could film 6 westerns at the same time. We did over 200 westerns a year back in those days. And you know, just about every famous movie cowboy has spent some time in this area. Take a look at your screens, you'll see what I mean.
Looks like old stuff here.
Now, coming out of 6 Points, we are coming alongside one of the 5 artificial lakes we have here on the lot. This particular one was the entire Pacific Ocean for the TV series McHale's Navy. And out there in the water, there's one of the miniatures from our latest movie, U-571. Here's a brief glimpse of what those miniatures look like on screen. Okay, now we're going to take a little jog towards our New York street. Now we call it New York because it's been the Big Apple in so many movies, but it's been a lot of other cities as well over the years. For instance, it was Chicago of the 1930s. On the steps of that very building that Clint Eastwood uttered that immortal line, "You feel lucky, punk? Do ya?" Now we're going to take you inside a soundstage and show you how we shoot a helicopter chase through the streets of New York at night. One of Hollywood's biggest stars is going to be on the set today, so get your cameras out and ready. However, his also usual everyday set into the streets of New York at night.
I'm so excited now.
Okay, Molly, take over. Watch this transformation with the lighting and the sound.
Have a monkey friend when standing by. Likewise, no walking, no talking, pictures, and someone's off. Okay, quiet on the set. Cue the lights. Cue specials. Roll sound plan.
No, don't.
Ready helicopter. Standby tram. Cue talent. And action.
I see it.
Pounds, they don't get much bigger than old banana bread, King Kong. Now, Kong is an example of a mechanical effect. We often use them in movies. Oops, here he comes now. This is New York Central Park. At least as much of it as the camera needs to see. Now, out in that lake back in 1959, we had a full-sized riverboat with a huge paddle wheel. It was for a TV series titled Riverboat. Now, in that TV series, there was a young, unknown actor stuntman who was kind of having a bad day. See, the director had asked him to fall off the side of the riverboat and into the water. No big deal for a stuntman, except he'd asked him to do it now 5 times. And every time he came dripping up out of the water, the director would say, "No, you fell in the wrong place. Go do it again." So finally the actor stuntman said, "Hey, come on up here and show me where I'm supposed to fall." And the director came up and leaned out to point. The actor stuntman threw him overboard. Well, as you can imagine, the director was not pleased. He came out of the water with these exact words: "You will never work in this town again." Well, ladies and gentlemen, that unknown actor stuntman, his name was Burt Reynolds. And nobody seems to remember the name of that director. I love Hollywood. Oh, and here we come to an oldie but goodie on the Universal Tour, the parting of the Red Sea. It's already parted, so we're going to go down into and through it. Now, please keep your seats. You can get some great shots from sea level. You might want to pick up anything off the floor that might get a little wet. You may also remember this area from Mel Brooks' History of the World, Part 1. As we pass through, look over here to the left-hand side. You can see into the actual lagoon that was once inhabited by the creature from the Black Lagoon. Now, as we come out of the Red Sea, over here to the left is the Blue Parrot Hotel, but behind it there's a huge building which is our prop department. We have the largest collection of props in the world in there, over 1 million props. A prop is anything an actor might touch that's not nailed down. It could be as small as a teacup, or as large as these totem poles up here. They're from the TV series Northern Exposure. Now, our set decorators use our prop department like a great big supermarket. They just wheel their carts up and down the aisles and pick out whatever props they want for whatever show they're doing. And then as new Universal projects wrap, the props get delivered back here. So the prop department keeps growing and growing and growing. As a matter of fact, a lot of the props that are in there right now were used in the area we're about to enter. Now, we call it Spartacus Square, and it gets its name from, well, wait a minute, why don't I just show you? Director Stanley Kubrick used special optical effects, hundreds of costumed extras, and Academy Award-winning production designers to transform this area into ancient Rome, or Spartacus. Spartacus starred Kirk Douglas, Lord Laurence Olivier, and a whole bunch of rowdy college kids from USC. They played all of the soldiers in Spartacus. Now, remember I mentioned that we can take you, that the whole world is just around the corner on our back lot? Well, now we'll prove it to you. We're going to take you from ancient Rome to the streets of Paris, or Germany, or Spain. See, this whole area over here to the left is called Little Europe. It was originally created for the 1929 film All Quiet on the Western Front, which incidentally brought us our very first Academy Award for Best Picture. And we can make these streets look like any little town in Europe we want to. All we have to do is change the language on the signs. You saw Billy Crystal running with the bulls on this street in Castle Rock's City Slickers. And if you saw Disney Television's recent musical, Geppetto, you saw Drew Carey wandering through this area looking for a more perfect child than his wooden one, Pinocchio. This was also used in Disney Television's wonderful version of Cinderella. You saw Brandy and Jason Alexander singing and dancing through here for almost the first half hour of that TV movie. Oh, and in Spelling Entertainment's 90210, when Brenda and Donna went to France, they actually came here. Now, you can't talk about Universal, and especially Little Europe, without talking about monster movies. See, we invented the genre here at Universal with monsters like Frankenstein, Dracula, and the Phantom. A lot of them got their start right here at what we call the Court of Miracles. Now, all those movies were in black and white. This, recently found in one of the film vaults, is the only known color footage of Boris Karloff wearing his Frankenstein makeup. What do you think of that, Boris? Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have a real treat about to come up for you. We got clearance just before we left. Up here in Soundstage 50, we're already filming an action-adventure movie. The cast and crew took an early morning break today, though, so we get to go in and look around. Now, this is the only two-story soundstage in the whole world. Up above there is a busy city street scene. Down below here, the art department's done a magnificent job creating a subway station, just like you might see up north somewhere, even to the point of having water seeping in, just like in a real subway. Now, of course, you're going to see some things that you won't see in the finished film in here. First off, there is a red dolly there. That's the special effects department. They're in charge of all the gunfire and explosions. And as I've said, this is an action-adventure movie. Across the way in the alcove, you can see one of the actors must be having trouble with his lines. There's a couple of cue cards. And up at this end, you can see the makeup department's brought a few things down. Now, they just do touch-ups here on the set. They do the actual makeup early in the morning in the makeup trailer. But they stay on set all nothing to worry about, ladies and gentlemen. Just one of our Southern California tremors we have all the time. Anyway, the makeup department, like goes again, everybody. Remain calm, remain seated, hold on to your belongings. We'll just ride this thing out. Whoa! Once again, Georgia. I sure hope they remember to shut off the subway train that comes through here. There's no place for it to go now. Uh-oh. I think we've seen the worst of it now. We can probably drive out any second. What's that? Ladies and gentlemen, we just survived earthquake, big one. Now we often use large-scale mechanical effects like that in our disaster movies, but if we'd been going to film that, we would have taken weeks of preparation, really 7 or 8 different setups. But when it all comes together, it's really something. Take a look.
That thing is going fast, boy. That water's going fast.
I saw that whole that's a video now.
Who doesn't love a good disaster movie, right? Well, you know, we've been through quite a bit right now. We've been through an earthquake, a King Kong, and a flash flood. I think it's about time for us to take a little vacation. So we're going to head up here to beautiful Amity Island. You remember the little village that was terrorized by the man-eating great white? Just get a view of this wonderful, great big Hollywood star. The feeding time is about in 1.5 minutes. It'll be fun. Now here's what's going to happen. When we get to the lake, you'll see there is this big yellow float out there in the water. That's what they have his food attached to. So even if he doesn't break this... Oh, it's a beautiful day here at Amity Island. Very peaceful. Now see, there's that yellow float. That's what he'll take the food from. But if we're lucky, he will come up above the water. You'll see the fin aiming towards it. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. Come on, Bruce, fresh meat. Bruce, here he comes. Now see, now watch, this is fascinating. He'll go right over to that yellow float over there, and then wait a minute, he's turning away from the float. Oh no, there's a man out there in the water fishing. Hey, mister, shark. Gosh, he's so focused on his fishing, he's not listening. What a dummy. Oh. Ew. Now there's something you don't see every day. Unless, of course, you're me, and then you see it many times a day. It never gets old, though, and neither does this next part. He is going to take the food from that float out there. Watch, he'll take the... Come on, Bruce, take the float. He took it, yes! Uh-oh, he's also taking the team. Ladies and gentlemen, the star of Jaws, here's Bruce! Ladies and gentlemen, you've just been face-to-face with Bruce, the mechanical shark that terrorized millions of moviegoers in the movie Jaws. Oh, I know what you're thinking. Up close, that big old plastic shark looks pretty fake, right? So tell me something. Why were some of you screaming? Actually, he's a lot more mechanically sound now than he was when we were filming Jaws. And if you won't take my word for it, well, maybe you'll take Steven Spielberg's.
That's a microline shark. It didn't really work all the time. It didn't work hardly at all. Wherever you were on the island, you could hear the radio mics. They were always saying, "The shark is not working. Repeat, the shark is not working." We just waited around. We just waited and waited and waited. The shark worked well enough. For a while there, I had to take a single on. So I really owe the shark a lot.
And here's a bit of movie trivia. Bruce the Shark got his name from Steven Spielberg's lawyer. Now this area was also used as Cabot Cove, Maine, for Jessica Fletcher's home in Murder, She Wrote. We used to see Angela Lansbury, Reynolds, and Dolly Parton. What a pair of actors. Now, this house was also recently used by rocker Rob Zombie. He made a movie called House of 1,000 Corpses. It'll be out later this year. And if you come back in October, you'll see a special maze for our Halloween Horror Nights created by Rob Zombie. Now we're going... No, we're not. Now there's a couple more media houses here. There's the house that Andy Griffith lived in on Matlock, and the last house here is a really famous movie house from the 1940 thriller, The House of the Seven Gables, which starred Vincent Price. Oh, and while we're on the subject of thrillers, it was up this very road one dark and stormy night when a young lady came driving along looking for a place to stay. She was in a bit of trouble, you know. She had just stolen $40,000 from her boss, and then she had a run-in with the police. Now it was late. She was tired. She needed to find a place to pull off. Luckily, she saw a light up ahead, a quaint little out-of-the-way motel with 12 rooms and 12 vacancies. Oh, and the nicest young man behind the front counter. The woman was Marion Crane, the man was Norman Bates, and the movie was Alfred Hitchcock's classic thriller, Psycho. Okay, and now, the Psycho house is still there, but the neighborhood has changed a little bit. It's now surrounded by Whoville from Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Long Bates Motel. But those Grinch houses are really something, aren't they?
Oh, that's a Grinch house.
You can see that the set designers really took their cue from the animated version. Well, while we're talking about How the Grinch Stole Christmas, I think the director has a few words for us.
The Bates house.
I have a little surprise for you. We'd like to show you an exclusive sneak peek at an upcoming Universal production. This is something we created just for you, our guests on the studio tour. I hope you enjoy it.
A Grinch?
Jim Carrey is the Grinch.
It's really fun when Jim Carrey's on the lot, and you know, he's on the lot a lot. Actually, if you look over to the right and back there, you see the world's largest backdrop. That lake in front of it has wave machines. We can literally do storms at sea there. As a matter of fact, if you remember the wonderful finale of Paramount's The Truman Show, you saw Jim Carrey in a sailboat on that lake fighting a huge storm, and then the sun came out and he walked along that very backdrop through a doorway and out into real life. It's really amazing how much we can make that backdrop look like an actual ocean. Take a look at this clip from Apollo 13. Mummies too. Gosh, I hope they don't have any of those creepy flesh-eating scarab beetles in there. You know, the ones that spit the acid and then they devour you. Ooh, they freak me out. Patricia, come on. Patricia, Patricia. Oh, we're stuck going in. Oh. Uh-oh. Oh, there's a whole coffin full of those scarab beetles. Patricia, wake up and drive. Drive like the wind. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. If you feel like you're falling, just close your eyes. Oh, it's slowing down. Oh, wow, that's better. Ooh.
Where are we falling? Oh, we are.
Oh, I see dead people.
Oh, shit.
Uh-oh. I hear that noise. It's those flesh-eating scarab beetles. They're coming closer. They must be attracted to the lights on the tram. Oh, no. Oh, they're taking over. Oh, there's one. Oh, no, they're everywhere. They're all over the place. One got on me. Ladies and Howard said he'd be back. And here he comes to kind of wind things up for us. Come on, Ron.
Universal's founder, Carl Laemmle, had a vision. He wanted to make movies that would make audiences laugh, or cry, or sit on the edge of their seats. And we haven't let him down. Mr. Laemmle's City of Entertainment has grown beyond his wildest dreams. You know what? It's a happy ending straight out of the movies.
And what movies? Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you look over to the right, down below you, you'll see the studio you just toured. And as you've seen on the tour today, through the eye of the camera, we can make that look like anywhere in the world or beyond. What's that, Ron? More? Well, okay. Here's Ron again.
Now I have a little surprise for you. We'd like to show you an exclusive sneak peek at an upcoming Universal production.
This summer, the Nutty Professor is back.
Yeah. Oh, that's right, that's right. You look just like Billy D. Billy D, Billy D, Billy D.
Feel the warmth.
Joe, put up that chair. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say nothing at all.
That's
Already on 55 miles per hour. 65, 75, 85. 20, 15. Get up.
Back again?
Yeah, I'm back again.
Come on in. Kaboom!
yourselves, people. I suspect that the party in the Hill Valley of our house could be a pretty rough place. Hello? Anybody home? It's not a dinosaur!
There's another car over there.
It's a tyrannosaur! A second! Hold on, big bro. Hey, I'm right. I know this. What you
I'll see you.
This concludes your annual journey through the world of the dinosaurs. Please join us again soon on
Hey!
누가 또 내리면 대자가 너무 그래서 너 내진대요.
Be careful, okay?
Có mà có mình chỉ số nữa tua ha. Thế 내진대요. có tua.
Wedding dress.
I know it. So orange.
Buddha dress. My pumpkin dress.
What fabric is it?
Silk.
Is it silk?
Yeah, they're all silk.
Ooh.
This is the dress that you put on the video?
Yeah.
That's the dress. It's pretty cool.
It's gonna be my beautiful dress.
Muốn biết có design chưa?
Baby.
Ở trong tay.
Mòn thế giờ.
Yeah, mò á chị.
Nó có điện thoại này.
Đồ thế là ship show all over the South Carolina. They took it to Japan and then Spartacus Square and they go there all over. Yeah, after biết rằng yeah, ta nó uống còn nó to như thế này. Chị lỡ uống nó lùa.
Can I see it?
Đó là lúc school là chị.
Rồi, mua ở từ từ là tại. Đó à. Ở từ từ là tại. Đó xong rồi.
Baby, sao con nhìn thua đấy? Mẹ con
nó mà.
Có tổ rung xí.
Đua rung dạ đây paper tissue paper.
Baby. You play John, okay? You play for nothing. Con chỉ có tiền.
Nên tụi tôi vì cái tụi tôi mà giờ thì mà chỉ ship thư rồi.
어디 너무 봐봐. 왔어요. 왔어요.
Come do this one over here. Careful.
보이는 거 봐봐. 왔어요. 왔어요.
Come on, baby. Oh, baby.
저.
It's gonna be a door.
OK， 到了。嘿，到了呢，到这。
你那个别到我们做，好我做这个都得要做着。
我煮你做几类，我能做了啊。
Đi nào. Hai người cái nào. Cô mà nói là nó có phải tụi
mình做这做这个你要做着。
Oh, I can't see nothing. No. Hi. I can only see your eye. Wait.
Huh?
Did you see it 4 years ago?
Yeah, I saw it like once.
I think it was hanging something.
Yeah.
What are you doing, Melissa?
Oh, pretty long.
Okay. I'll do it. You just look up. No, baby. I will do it, okay? Honey, go try to go down, okay? Come on, order go down.
What's up? What's up? Come here. Hold bottom. Outside. Hold bottom. Outside.
Wow.
It's not a dress.
Yeah,
It's a top. This is a dress.
Để dress luôn, nó liếc cao rồi rồi đầu tiên nữa là.
This a dress?
Cho nó luôn nó thế hả?
Okay.
I want to wear that one.
Để dress nè.
Okay, Melissa, now you do.
Để.
Oh, you do that.
Your fashion outfits?
Yes. Baby, totally come on. Okay, come on. You go into her.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Yo, honey, come on, one.
Honey.
No.
See, is that how small their waists are?
Yeah. Little Becky, huh? Try Becky.
Super long.
Yeah,
But Vicky, wear your shoes and it'll be just
unbutton it
perfect.
and just put it around your waist and see if it fits.
Big, I think your waist is too big.
No.
I think your waist is too big, Becky.
Too big thế mà phải cho nên đỡ rồi.
Yeah, barely.
Not the whole.
Barely fit Becky.
Oh, Becky, you know, you can take pictures in this, you know, right away. And
Oh, these are cute.
Gee, they got some super good
Becky, nó cho nó.
hey, Becky, don't you feel like a princess?
Yes.
That's my pumpkin dress.
It does look like a pumpkin. Oh, you do.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to wear this.
Oh, you get taller already.
Whoa, pumpkin.
Oh, Becky. Hey,
what's up? This is I'm a model, man.
You look too short.
I know, too short.
go wear your shoes, Becky, and that's not perfect.
Short snout.
You're like Cinderella in a pumpkin.
I thought not.
Make sure you don't step on it or nothing.
What was it?
Okay, yeah, you just walk down the way like a model.
No, it's
You're
okay.
right.
Okay, hello, walk.
It's okay.
You're recording mine?
So how do you feel, Becky?
Feel like a princess.
superstar.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, a little bit more meat and then
Yeah, a little more meat.
The waist was kind of tight on her.
Oh yeah?
Like the skirt one.
Oh, the inside skirt was tight?
Are they that big, man? The thing with it, huh?
Yeah, it fits them.
It must be like super skinny, y'all.
Oh yo, the number go 어릴 펴서. No.
What's up?
Take ice. Eat it. Oh, the big old pumpkin?
Yeah. Nè. Nè. À, sao nó cổ con à?
Baby, sorry, come on. Come on, be good. Good, sorry, go
The
ahead.
skirt's really short.
Có xe thay hụt gì thay thôi có tụi nó cổ bản đi cơ đó.
Oh, yeah, that's nice. And
It could look just like nice like that too, yeah.
Yeah. Let's take off here until wear.
Oh yeah, that's
And
right, you did,
then
huh?
she dragged it
Rồi
behind.
bây giờ tôi xây câu hay nhau bộ bây giờ.
That kind of looks like in that blue, yeah.
Yeah.
It does, because the colors, huh?
Con nhâm nó cổ vợ.
Is this right?
Uh,
Or is the other parts will be?
David, yeah, yes.
Oh, it's the other part?
Yeah, kind of like that to the side.
It's okay, we're not fashion designers, so we don't know.
It's okay.
We're amateurs.
This one is like this.
Yeah, that's good, that too.
That looks like a pumpkin now.
Halloween costume right here.
Ta mới sẽ thì áp từ từ tập đó.
And there's a hole right
Bác
there.
kìa.
Oh.
Hey, it can be worn either way.
Huh? Can my feet up? Oh, your butt's gonna be dirty. Yeah, I think a pillow dirty.
This way.
Bác có cửa nó nhẹ
And her show is gonna make her own dress too. For Daniel's wedding.
Oh, yeah?
She says she's gonna make her own dress, and I go,
She made it. She made it.
Did she really?
I saw it, yeah. She made the top too tight, huh?
Oh, yeah?
And she couldn't button the back.
Say what you want. I can't see that.
David, talon. Pumpkin girl. Talon, huh?
Oh, be careful you don't trip on the shoes, okay?
Come on.
No, this one's like
Good girl, good girl.
Oh, no, mundo
Con gì nào? Yeah, yeah.
See? That's it, baby, no apple one.
Đó. Nó có cái gì cái này yêu tê.
Hi, bye bye.
Này yêu tê gì sao vậy? Không mình ăn tới đá, thì là cái gì đó.
Yeah, we just took it out. Yeah, we'll put it back in. It's orange also.
Oh, it's orange too?
Yeah.
Wow. Pretty.
Hi.
Hello.
Say hi. Sắp rồi.
It looks funny from the back, Becky. I said it looks funny from the back. You know how it's like you can hug yourself, whatever. Hi, thank you, Grandma. Hi, thank you to Grandma. Not to me.วันนี้หน่อยนะ
Whoa.
Cái số.
Chị đưa. Bỏ.
Tao nói là cái gì là cho. Nè, friends, ito nè. Nè, oh. Cucu ni, oh, for one that tayo siya.
Do so.
Đánh nọ kia.
Oh, tayo na, lo. Too late.